Let's celebrate Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is a holiday that is not the same as Christmas, but is a holiday that is celebrated by a lot of people around the world. Location and language. Many Americans have ancestors from Africa. Africa is the second largest continent, and it is surrounded by the Indian and Atlantic Oceans. Many different languages are spoken in Africa. So this is not the flag of Africa, but this is the Kwanzaa flag. So you might see in some of your things, I chose like the South African flag. South Africa is a country on the very bottom of the continent of Africa, but this is the Kwanzaa flag, which is the most important to this unit. If you look on a world map, Africa is not a country. It is bigger than a country. All of these little pieces are countries. This is one big, what we call continent, and the continent of North America. We live in the country of the United States on the continent of North America. Iowa would be somewhere in here, which is a state, even smaller than a country. And you would have to fly all the way across the ocean to get to the continent of Africa. But inside that continent are tons of countries that celebrate Kwanzaa. What is Kwanzaa? Kwanzaa is a 7-day holiday celebrated by many African Americans or Africans to help them remember their ancestors' homeland of Africa. Kwanzaa begins on December 26th, which is the day after our Christmas, and ends on January 1st. Kwanzaa means first fruits. Each day centers around one of 7 guiding principles of Kwanzaa, which isn't the principle like the principle of our school, but a principle, something important that you should live by. The holiday was created in 1966 by a man named Dr. Maulana Karenga. Kwanzaa celebrations often include drums, African dances, storytelling, and poetry. The colors of Kwanzaa are black, red, and green. Gifts are given during Kwanzaa, and they must always include a book and a heritage symbol, which means something that would remind them of their ancestors before them. When people decorate for the holiday, they use traditional African items such as art objects, African baskets, and traditional African fabric and cloth patterns. The 7 principles of Kwanzaa that I was talking about earlier. Again, not like a principle of a school, but a principle that you live by, something that's really important. There are 7 principles of Kwanzaa. Each night of Kwanzaa, a candle is lit on that kinara, which is right here. That's a picture of that kinara, which we'll talk more about later. And every night that they light one of those candles, they talk about one of these principles. And these are the following principles. So the first principle is unity, which means togetherness. So they talk about unity in the family and community. Principle number 2 is self-determination, which means to be responsible for the community and to speak for yourself. Principle 3 is collective work and responsibility, which means to build and maintain a community, so to do things that are good for your community. Cooperative economics is the 4th principle, and that means to help build and maintain our own businesses. So businesses are important to keeping your town, your city, your country going and to keeping them healthy and working properly. The 5th principle of Kwanzaa is purpose, which is to build and develop goals to benefit the people of the community. What is your purpose? What are the things that you would do, the goals that you want to accomplish to benefit other people or including you? Creativity down here is how are you going to make the community more beautiful or more beneficial for other people in the future? So how are you going to make your community better? And faith is the last principle, and that is to believe in our people, parents, teachers, and leaders. So those are the 7 principles of Kwanzaa that they celebrate each of the days of Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa symbols. In addition to the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, there are also 7 symbols of the holiday. These are kinara, mkeka, muhindi, mishumasaba, mazao, kikombe cha umoja, and zawadi. Kwanzaa colors. The traditional colors of Kwanzaa are black, red, and green. Each color represents something different. The black in the Kwanzaa flag represents the color of the people. Green stands for the fertile land of Africa, so how their land let them grow a lot of crops. And red represents the struggle for freedom, so probably all the blood that was shed trying to be free. The mazao. The mazao are the crops. These are the fruits and vegetables from the harvest, like bananas, plantains, oranges, mangoes, and peaches. It symbolizes work and the reason for the holiday. The makeka. The makeka is a woven mat made of raffia, paper, or fabric. All of the other Kwanzaa symbols are placed on the makeka. They're placed on that mat. It would be almost like a placemat at your table. It symbolizes experiences and foundations, which foundation, if you think of a house, you lay a foundation first and then you build everything on top of that. That makeka is the foundation. It sits first and then you put your other items on top of the makeka. The kinara. The kinara is a candle holder that holds all 7 of the Kwanzaa candles that are lit each night of the 7-day celebration. So the kinara is that special candle holder. The Mishuma Saba. The Mishuma Saba are the 7 candles that are placed on that kinara. The colors of the candles are black, red, and green. You guessed it, the Kwanzaa colors. And they symbolize the stalks of corn that branch off to form new stalks, which reminds them of their family. So the kids that grow up and move away and make their own families. That's what they are kind of symbolizing, is your family growing. The muhindi is the corn. There is 1 ear of corn for each child in the family. So if you had 3 children, there would be 3 ears of corn. If there are no children in the family, only 1 ear of corn is used to represent all the children in their community. The muhindi is supposed to represent or symbolize the future. So think about that, how important you are as kids. They think kids are so important because they're going to be our future. The kikombe cha umoja. The kikombe cha umoja is the unity cup, and unity means togetherness. The unity cup is filled with water, fruit juice, or wine, and it is shared between people, with each person taking a sip. It represents family and community. The zawadi. The zawadi are gifts. Children receive gifts that remind them of their African heritage. Gifts can also be educational items like books or games and DVDs. Gifts are given on the last day of Kwanzaa, January 1st. There's so much to learn about Kwanzaa, but thank you for learning about a few of the symbols and principles of Kwanzaa.